Hey, sweetie. I'm sorry I'm such a mess today. It's just one of those days where I can't seem to stop crying. Just one of the joys of being the type of person who perpetually wears their heart on their sleeve. It's nothing I can change, I know that. But today it's been particularly hard. I had seen this coming for a few days and kept on hoping I would be able to get past it before it got this bad. But of course, dysphoria is never that kind. Yet with all of the types of dysphoria that's talked about with trans individuals is how very real the dysphoria is of the person's own voice to themselves. I know there's all sorts of tutorials and whatnot out there on how to improve your voice, how to improve your range, but for me it's just like, well, what do I do when that's not enough? Especially when dysphoria triggered by my own voice is what I have to fight with the most. What I hear coming out of my face doesn't match my own internal voice. Just opening up and trying to talk is massively jarring. I've struggled with this most of my life, even though I've only known what dysphoria is for a few years. I spent too much of my life relying on other people's opinions on what my voice should and shouldn't be. Unfortunately, some of those opinions I couldn't fight against because I was made to feel like I was unfailingly in the wrong. I understood nothing about what was going on inside of myself at those times in my life when I was completely vulnerable. I could easily say that I just literally didn't know any better. So I believe those well-meaning voices were correct and honest. And I let them define me, even to the extreme that I actively sought to alter my voice, thinking that if I excelled at it, that I would finally be acceptable in those people's eyes. If someone would have told me back then what I was doing would cause permanent change to my voice, in my ignorance, I would have been delighted. But now, especially when my dysphoria creeps up so badly like this, I still hear the hateful words behind the well-meaning advice. And what I did to my vocal cords, I can't see it as anything short of mutilation. Saying it that way makes it sound like I did something extreme, but it isn't as bad as it sounds. It's just my reasons for doing it and to what lengths I went to meet other people's expectations is what really horrifies me. I spent years in vocal training in part because I was told in many ways and often that my voice was ugly. It didn't match what they expected I should sound like. Being beaten with those words regularly is enough to break even the strongest will, especially since I believed I was the only one who was mismatched in such a way. I was so tired of feeling like a freak. I couldn't grasp why I was so different. I was continually and severely criticized for behaving or sounding at odds with how anyone else perceived my gender. I felt like the square peg constantly being pounded on until I fit the round hole. But it never worked. Even though I adamantly tried to be the picturesque rendition of what people thought my gender presentation should be. I felt like if I had to be in a gender, then I would be the best of that gender I could be. So to try and achieve that goal, I used my vocal training as a form of body modification for my voice. What made it worse is that even in small ways, I was praised for doing it. In the process, I learned to perceive my natural voice and correct range as something vile and horrendous. I valued myself so little that I literally went through the pain of training my voice into a range where it naturally did not belong. Now, when the lingering effects of that come out, it really horrifies me. What's worse is I don't realize I'm doing it until I comprehend that the horrid sound in my ears is coming from my own face. Effortlessly, it pops up whenever I talk when I'm happy, and most especially it gets bad when I'm excited. My younger self intentionally used the vocal training to alter my speaking voice. It's so ingrained now that it feels irreversible, and that could be true because I worked so hard on my voice modification at an age when my vocal cords were still forming. I've talked with someone close to me who has had a part of them amputated, who certainly has the phantom limb to deal with sometimes. I've told them before that me not fitting in the body I have feels like my DNA mutilated me and there are the wrong parts, or it feels like there are parts missing that even now my mind still tells me should be there. A few days ago, I told them that my voice feels the same. My mind acutely understands how to use and manipulate my vocal cords for the range I can't access, but it feels like they were surgically shortened and removed. They are not there like it feels like they should be. This realization gutted me. No matter how much work and dedication I put in now to work towards that comfortable range, it is utterly useless without the body parts to access it. And it feels like it has triggered a really severe grieving process of having that knowledge sinking in so deep that I can't have my external voice and my internal voice match up. With talking to you, I had hoped it would be easy for me to find a way to deal with the dysphoria, overcome the dysphoria, and so in part find a way to, on some level, accept my voice. And my optimism made it seem like it was going to be a whole lot easier than it has actually turned out to be. All I can really hope at the moment is there's someone else out there, for some reason, finds value in my voice. At least then someone else would have a use for this noise that comes out of my face. And that way I can at least see it as a useful tool to help someone suffer just a bit less. I don't know why they would want my voice, but if they do, they can certainly have it. And yeah, I know how ridiculous that sounds. And the only realistic way I know how to give it away is to just keep talking, hoping that person is still listening by this point. Because the dysphoria has been worse because it feels like I'm going to all of this effort and nobody hears me. Nobody says, I see value in what you do, that it's appreciated, that I quietly fight so much to get past my dysphoria, to be able to do something that's beyond myself. Having hope that somehow I say all the right things that their heart needs to hear to be able to bring them some level of peace. A level of contentment that they struggle to find on their own. At least for the point that I'm at in my life now, I understand I'm not by myself. If I'm feeling this way, there's gotta be somebody else out there that feels the same, that's on the other side of the fence. Someone who has the ideal voice which I wish I had. And perhaps in that way, we can help comfort each other. I know it won't get rid of the dysphoria, but it could do a fair amount to mitigate it. And if you happen to be the person who needs to hear my voice, I want you to sit there and listen to the sound of my voice, absorbing into you every last syllable, each inflection, my very last breath, as you just feel them. Let the sound and the content of my words sink into your heart. If there's something you need to hear and I haven't said it yet, write it down so I will know. I care for you so much, and I want to do my best for you. No one is more important to me right now than you are. So for a time, just let my voice become yours, allowing you to be in a space where dysphoria doesn't exist. I want you to imagine that in this place, everything is right with the world. In this happy realm, you are whole and complete. You can talk to your heart's desire, and it flows wonderfully from your lips as it delights your own ears. I'm there too, whole and complete as well. We can be together in this place without judgment. I can sit and listen to your exuberant chatting and watch your entire demeanor shine. You embody that voice, the one you have always heard with your heart and can now hear with your ears. After a while, maybe, just maybe, you might choose to sing for me, drenching me in all those stunning lyrical tones, notes so full of expression and vibrance. Then by chance, you choose that one song that always makes me cry. But this time, the tears stem from how magnificent you sound, making every note and run all so beautifully your own, as if the music is calling out from your very bones. You steal my heart away with that voice. You are such a gorgeous person, inside and out. I feel so blessed to have you in my life. Every day, you bring my heart such euphoria with your vibrant personality, your humor, your uniqueness. I love everything about you, your hair and how you choose to style it. Those eyes of yours that I could just sit and stare into until one or maybe both of us felt awkward. I certainly don't want to forget the exquisite color of your skin. I love it so much because it is a part of you. Stunning, wonderful, splendid you. I want to do what I can to bring you peace. I want you to be content while you are in my care, in this special place where you would finally find your voice, your proper voice, that tearful sound bubbling out of you as you chatter on without a single reservation or hesitance. Oh, and it suits you perfectly. I listen to you speak with enraptured delight, your words caressing me more intimately than a single touch is able. It is your voice that I have so longed to hear, wonderfully surrounded by all the kind things you whisper. Then you say a scant few words, making my heart skip a beat. Thank you, your words whisper ever so tenderly. You have given me a way to feel whole and complete, allowing me the chance to feel like my true self even for a short while. I count you as a blessing in my life. You are honest and genuine, and I love you for that. If I wasn't completely enchanted with you before, hearing that would tumble me over the edge. I want to be as much of a rock and foundation as I can be for you. Every single moment of it is worth it to me. Gives me a reason to work past my own dysphoria so I can reach out and make yours less severe. How could I not offer this when it means I can spend more moments with you and help you take the small steps towards who you need to be? I want you to return to this place whenever the weight of dysphoria or the outside world gets to be too much for any reason. Use it as a refuge as often as you need to. Again, please let me know what else I need to tell you so your heart can feel whole and at peace. We are in this together, alright? Not for a single moment do I want you to feel alone. We are all traveling down our own individual paths in life, but more often than you would believe, we walk beside each other too. You may not feel like it, but you are a strong person. I see it in how you carry yourself, the way you stand up courageously to the world as your true self. I am in awe with how stunning you are, a magnificently glittering phoenix, soaring right before my eyes.